Hi guys, another rubber toe assembly here, the Lifetime 21 by 11 storage shed with the two add-ons, 30-inch add-ons. There it is, beautiful thing. Today's section 2, the truss assembly. I'm going to show you here. Notice right away how the cardboard from the boxes is utilized on the concrete, laid it all out perfectly. All these are going to be your trusses. It's quite a few of them, so if you lay them all out like this, it's nice. And some of the channels on the ends are different, so you have to make sure you pull the right channels for your top section there of the roof. And then getting right to it, we have everything's so easy on the cardboard. See the cardboard there? It's nice. We have the bolts that are going to go through the top of your truss, just as you see here. Those are your two middle pieces, known as the vertical truss brace. Both of them go together, one on the outside of each, just like you see there, with a little nut on the end. Just hand tighten them all for now. And then I always put, it's going to go to the horizontal truss brace, which is right there, the horizontal truss brace. And I connect one side first, just to kind of hold it there, and just hand tighten the screws, just like you see there, running all the way through the channel. And then just a nut on the other side, hand tighten once again, and that'll hold it. It'll help hold the middle, which I'm going to connect next. And then connecting the middle will help everything hold in the exact place where it's supposed to be, to connect at the top and on the other side of the truss brace. There's your two middle bolts, and they just line up with the two holes that are in the horizontal truss brace there. You gotta have everything loose, so that's why you don't tighten those screws you already put in, just hand tight. And then you just get some wiggle room there, jiggle it around so that the bolt goes through all four holes basically, and then comes out the other side. And then you just put a cap nut on the end of that, and after that's inserted, then the other hole is going to be lined up better, because this one will be through. So the second one should always be a little bit easier, because everything's lined up on the first one. There you go, put the little cap on there, and it's pretty much half assembled almost at this point. Then you run that last bolt through, and as you see, way easier and quicker, because everything's already pre-lined up with the first one. So then that's attached, and again, just hand tightened for now. Then you take the plastic part at the top. It's labeled AIP in the book. Little truss connector is what that is. And you slide it underneath the first bolt that you put in, and then line up the holes with the next piece and put the bolt running over it, just like it is on the other side, as you see there. Yep. And then that can be kind of tricky too. You got to wiggle that around, but I'm supposed to put a nut on the other side of that, but it looks like I'm jumping over already to the end, running that bolt too. And then I want to put a nut on the end of each one of these. They're setting through all the holes nice and perfectly. It's great. Okay, and then I can go bring it up like I do, and just run little nut caps on the other end. Just hand tighten. There's the first one, second one will be down on the end, and then just hand tighten those for now. You can build all these if you want in a row all the way down, and then come through after they're all lined up and just go and tighten them all up. You don't want to tighten them up too much when you tighten them up, just so they're snugged up. Then on to section 3, the Gable Assembly. And just taking everything out of the bag here. Should be 2 of these round with 2 screens for each. Yep, one for each actually. So 2 and 2, and then it comes with the little bags of hardware for each one. There will be hardware left over in these bags that is not used. There always is. Maybe it's a typical bag for depending which models, but few washers, not much, just few washers. And they give you a package with these little screws that you see me putting in here. Should be 4 of those extra because one's not going to be needed on the small gable. It's already one piece. It connects the 2 gable sides. Anyway, you slide that behind there, as you see there. It's the vent, and it comes with a screen. It's going to go on top of that, and this is my little trick here. I line up all those holes, 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom, where you can see through to the vent underneath, and then you line the screen on top, and just as you see there, it's all lined up perfect. That simple. Lift up, lift down, or bring down, and then you should look through each one of those holes and see the hole in the vent that the screw gets a washer and then gets screwed in. There should be 5 of those screws too. Just count the holes, 5 screws. It's a small little packet, and then just insert them with the 5 washers, just as you see there, and gable is complete. Oh. Yeah, you don't want to screw into that screen. Make sure the screen is off to the side and right into the hole, because you don't want to twist your screen and damage it. And you're all set. On to section 4, the left door assembly. And here is an overview of your parts. I have it all laid out on a piece of cardboard. As you see, this cardboard that comes with everything's boxed in these boxes. You might as well utilize this cardboard all the time. I lay it out, and you can make cuts just as you saw there, opening stuff up. It's on cardboard, which is going to be thrown away later, and it's nice padding for the knees, as you see there. Anyway, I'm laying out all the parts. They're all laid out nice, perfect. First thing you want to do is put these 3 pieces on, according to the book. They're called metal braces. 1, 2, 3. They go on just like that. 3 of those little short, fat screws hold them on. So there's 9 screws total in that little bag, and then you just put those on. If you want, a lot of times the book says put them on here, but it makes the door heavier. So if you're gonna, especially if you're by yourself, which you shouldn't be, the instructions say always 2 or more people, you put these little blocks in, but you might want to leave those things on to keep the door lighter, and then you can always screw them on later in the door braces. So anyways, it adds weight to the door, it makes things a lot heavier. So you put these little blocks in right after that, and you're going to want to slide a door channel, the correct door channel, next on top of those little blocks. It's called EVA, the left to center door hinge. And it looks just like that on the end. The instruction shows you a better angle of what it looks like on paper, the design on the end there. And you slide that, just as you see there, onto your door. And line up the holes. There should be 1 at the top, 2 in the middle there, and 1 at the bottom as well. And there's the 4 carriage bolts are going to run through there, as you see me putting the small screwdriver through the hole there, and just wiggle it in a circular motion, and it kind of opens the channel there. Boom. You slide the first carriage bolt through there with a washer on the other end, and then a cap nut on the other end, 3/8, and just run it through from the outside, pointing in. Obviously, you can see there's an inside of the door and the outside of the door that look different. So yeah, run it through, make sure it's pointing the right direction so it looks pretty on the outside. Then you go to the middle section, run 2 in there. I'm clearing the holes. I'm just doing that circular motion through each hole like a square. All 4 corners, it bumps around all 4 corners, and it helps line up these carriage bolts to sink through that little square shape and down out the other side, so you can put your washer and the cap nut on top of it. And I'm just hand tightening them all, of course, for now. If you're tightening them as you're going along, you'll see it's just tightening things down, and you won't be able to get the next hole to wiggle room to move it around because everything will be so tight. So yeah, that's a typical procedure with most of this stuff. You put all your bolts in loosely so that they, you aren't fighting yourself getting the bolts through because everything's been tightened. Anyway, You just run all 4 through, hand tighten them all, and you'll come back later and just snug them up so there's no loose washers and it's on there. But you want to check the top edge and the bottom edge. I don't know if you can see there that well, but right there where my shoulder is, that's the bottom edge by the looks of it there. And make sure, you know, it's a nice flush. You don't want it sticking out too far on the ends, and you should be fine when they put the doors together. So next part here is the deadbolts, and they come with little plastic blocks that kind of drop into a little groove there that kind of lines up. A little tricky here, you just want to look at the picture. Gives you they give you a picture in the owner's manual, and look at how it's shaped and how it's to be put on. They give you a good little diagram, and then they go into those little slots and little self-tapper screws. They give you a drill bit. You could pre-drill the holes if you want, and then run these through. But you know, these are called self-tapper screws for a reason. It's got a drill bit tip on the end of each one of those screws, so you can make your hole and put the screw all at the same time. Kind of nice. They include those self-tappers with it. But they also give you a drill bit if you want to do it the old-fashioned way. And then, so yeah, there's all your parts. And you go insert this deadbolt to the top part of the door. It's the left side middle door, so it's going to get the top and bottom deadbolts, which are going to be going to the bar that goes across that upper gable that you put on, and that's going to lock that, and then the bottom will drop into the bottom plate of the flooring. So you put those 2 self-tappers through there, and I usually hook it on the spring so it's out of the way when I'm done with those 2 deadbolts. There you have another rubber toe assembly. Thanks you guys for watching these sections of the 21x8 lifetime storage shed. Beautiful, beautiful shed. Thanks guys. Alright, rubber toe out.